Hey pals, and welcome to my fourth devlog. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been working on a lot of cool stuff, and to show it off to you today, I got a special guest. Let me introduce you to Mojo. So if you don't know who Mojo is, he's the character you get to play in my game called Puddle Pals. And fun fact about Mojo, he's actually based off the Australian tree green frog. But that's enough about Mojo. Let's put him here and let's dive into the update. The first thing I want to show you today is Mojo's home. I did a full makeover of his home, adding grass, bushes, trees, and different kind of flowers. In addition, I also added different particle effects like butterflies, dust clouds, splashes, crows, falling leaves, to name a few. The water also had a big update. So the first thing we did was change the material to be less realistic and fit the art style. Speaking about water, Mojo, do you want to jump in and show everyone what we've done? As you can see, if Mojo is high enough above the water, he will start to do a little cannonball animation. Once he's in the water, you can now swim. I also added a fluid effect to the water, so if Mojo was to jump in the water, it reacts to his movement. And the last thing I changed was the underwater material. So now it's a deep blue and a little bit blurry. I also added some AI fish. Currently, I just use simple raycast, and if I hit anything, they adjust their movement. The next thing I would like to show you in my devlog today is the new ridables. So in Puddle Pals, you and your friends will be able to ride different things down streams. And the first one I'd like to show you today is Rubber Ducky. So once Mojo interacts with the Rubber Ducky, he will jump on its back. To move forward, it will just be W and S. But when you press A and D, you will rotate the whole Rubber Ducky. The next rideable to join the Puddle Pals world is the mug. So once Mojo interacts with the mug, his little head will pop off the edge of the mug. However, when you press A and D, you will rotate Mojo around the rim of a mug. So Mojo's placement is very important on how to move the mug forward. Next to the list, I'd like to introduce you to the water bottle. So the water bottle is very different from the mug and a Rubber Ducky. Once Mojo interacts with the water bottle, he will be spawned inside the water bottle and will need to use his body mass to control how the bottle moves on the water. And last but not least, this is my personal favorite. We have now a paper boat. So the movement of this one is very similar to the Rubber Ducky. However, you need to be careful how long you're on this. Once it hits the water, it will start growing a mass, and if it's on the water long enough, it will capsize. And the last thing I want to show you today is this. So I didn't want to just show you a devlog on what I did and how I did it and my changes. I wanted to be able to interact with the objects in Puddle Pals easily. So using Unity, I used a plugin, which I'll put in the description, and that determines where my shoulders and hands are. And using that, I was able to spawn the objects in my hand. And I set up some debug keys so I can freely just change them very easily. So as you can see, he moves around with my hand, and I can also rotate them around so you can see all these assets.
Nice.
But that's all for this devlog. Thanks for watching, and I'm super excited about how the game's coming along, and I've got some really exciting things coming up in the future. Mojo, do you want to say goodbye? Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye pals!